Hola, bienvenidos a la segunda edición del festival La Noche más Negra. Hoy tenemos con nosotros a James Ellroy, que sin duda es cabeza de cartel de esta segunda edición. James Ellroy está en España promocionando su última novela, Pánico, publicada por Literatura Random House, y que es un retrato de Freddy Otash, que era un ex policía corrupto, un detective, alguien, un fullero al final, muy metido en pasarle información y cotilleo a una revista de cotilleos, un personaje de esos bigger than life que James Ellroy retrata con su fuerza, con su nervio habitual, su energía, y como digo, tenemos el placer de poder conversar durante un rato con él, de la novela también y de su proceso creativo en general. So, hello, James. Welcome.
Hey, Daddy-o, what's shaking?
Hello. Welcome to La Noche más Negra. It's a pleasure to have you with us, this the second edition of this festival. Shall we start with widespread panic?
Yeah,
Okay?
why not?
Yeah. Fred Otash had already appeared in your 2012 novel, no, The Shakedown. Why bring him back and now and dedicate to him such a long novel?
Yeah, that was a novel. That was a novella, Shakedown. I wrote it for the internet. I owed somebody a favor. I decided to expand the story, combine it with two other big narratives, and turn it into a proper novel. Because I was locked down in Denver, Colorado with the COVID. I didn't have COVID, but people were in lockdown. And I said, shit, let's make some money and write a book.
Okay. You met him in person, no, Fred?
I knew Freddie from 89 to 92. He died in 92, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you've said he had no charm, that he was a sort of clown.
He was a buffoon. He was a dipshit. He had no charm. He wasn't particularly intelligent. He was a bullshit artist. He was a prevaricator. But I saw that I could use him in my book, American Tabloid. Then I gave him some money. Then I realized he will go on the media and contradict my book, and I can't have that, so I fired him. Then he died, and I could have used him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Good thing he died, huh?
Yeah.
And in Widespread Panic, we once again find a topic that appears repeatedly in your books, that is the breakdown of a powerful man. What is that interests you so much about this subject? The downfall of the powerful man.
Well, I've had a bunch of crack-ups myself. I think to be a man in a competitive society and to be sentient and to like women and to crave either physical power, creative power, sooner or later, sin is going to get to you. Sooner or later, the devil is going to bore his way into your brain and try to take you over, and you will crack up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Los Angeles, between the 50s and the 70s, keeps inspiring you. You never run out of stories and characters. What makes it so rich from a narrative point of view?
I'm from there. Yeah, it's just autobiography, pure and simple. If I were Spanish and not American, if I grew up here in Madrid, I'm back in Madrid. Yeah. I love it so much. La Ciudad. If I grew up here in Barcelona or in Madrid, I'd be Spanish and would look at the world a certain way and would probably be obsessed with the history of my own company. So.
Mm-hmm. But how much of your fascination for this period you think comes from the fact of being a kid and a teenager during those years?
Yeah, that's all of it. Mm-hmm. And LA's a jazzy place to come from. It's good looking, a lot of women, movie stars, Sunset Strip, dope, bad race relations. It was a dramatic place to grow up.
But the present LA has little to do with that LA, no?
I haven't lived there in years,
yeah.
And I may never go back to LA, except on a book tour to sell books.
But you wouldn't say that nostalgia fools your novel, no?
No, I'm reinventing nostalgia, and I am recreating the history of LA, because most of it's fiction. I use real life characters and have them do things they didn't really do.
I wanted to ask you about how do you understand the dialogue between fact and fiction? Do you have any strategy about that, or fiction is the most important thing and
Fiction.
fact is
Fiction.
just the backdrop?
The fact is the skeleton on which I hang my fictional suit of clothes.
And the actual research process, you hate that?
I
you don't
hate
like
it.
You hire people who help you with the research?
Yeah, and they always give me too much information. I can always look through and I go, nah. Okay, that's interesting. I'll use it.
So the most boring aspect of writing would be the research for you.
Somebody else does it for me.
you.
Reading the research is deadly.
Is that okay? And in Widespread Panic, we also have a glimpse in it. You go deep into the tremendous power that gossip magazines had back then in the 50s. We can't imagine that the amount of power they had in the present day. When the online has made gossip very cheap, very
right.
I mean, we're tremendously powerful. Even the big studios, Hollywood studio, wanted to.
They tried to
them
quash
down.
Confidential magazine, properly so. They operated illegally. Freddy Otash had gay bathhouses wired, bugged, telephones tapped. He had hotel suites where illicit lovers, famous lovers, would meet to Freddy had it hot wired. Freddy bribed all the desk clerks and the parking lot attendants and the maitre d's. He was the man.
That's impossible to visualize nowadays. It's a model that will never come back. I mean, with online
Not
media.
because of the internet, no.
And talking about the internet, it is well known that you don't like technology, you avoid it as much as possible, that you don't follow the news, that you don't read your contemporaries. Would you say this in part responds to the need to live as connected as possible to the time periods of your books? No? As if the present could distract you in a way?
I don't want to know what's happening. I tell people, don't tell me what's happening. I don't want to know. I don't watch TV. I've never used a computer. I don't have a cell phone. I write by hand.
Yeah. Because this need to be connected, to be in the time frame, you have to be constantly on that.
I do. Other people, I'm sure, can live in today and live in their imaginative way back when. I can't do it.
Okay. And Widespread Panic also plays with the subject of celebrity smut films. This existed or were more sort of urban legend?
Chances are I made it up because it sounded good. I never tell people, interviewers, journalists, what's real and what's not.
Okay. So you keep us with the doubt if they existed or not.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the funniest aspect about writing satire? If we can consider your last novel as satire. I don't know if you would agree that it's satire.
Well, it's comedic, yeah. You know what it is? It's making fun of bad people, like the film director Nick Ray, the actor James Dean, and the bullshit movie Rebel Without a Cause. I stick it to them.
Yeah, you can really see, the reader can really feel how you despise everyone involved in the film Rebel Without a Cause. It's like a bête noire of yours, no?
Yeah.
Why do you hate them so much?
Because it started the youth culture.
Okay.
Because it encouraged kids to rebel against their parents. Because it was a stupid view of the adult world. Because it canonized rebellious shithead rock and roll teenagers on motorcycles.
Okay.
I hate rock and roll. I hate teenage kids. I hate cheap rebellion.
Good. Okay. And Kennedy, president, is fiercely portrayed in the novel. Why is he such a mythical figure if he was such a mediocre president and a sleazy human being?
Because he looked good, he had a nice haircut, like you. Nice hair.
Thank you.
See, I don't have any hair. And because he had a lot of women, and he was charming. And he got bumped off at the right moment to assure his sainthood.
Okay.
but he was hung like a cashew.
Okay.
He was, you know,
Yeah.
Hey, cashew, President John F. Kennedy, cashew dick, yeah. So I stick it to Kennedy every chance I get.
Okay. And by the way, on his new documentary about JFK, Oliver Stone clears Lee Harvey Oswald from his murder.
Bullshit.
What's your personal take on who's to blame?
Lone gunman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You completely agree with the idea of the
Lone
lone
gunman.
shooter? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And was there any real fact, going back to widespread panic, any real fact that you couldn't put in the novel because it was too crazy and readers wouldn't believe it?
No.
I thought the answer would be no.
No.
You've never come across, during the writing of any of the books, something so crazy you've said, I cannot put this because it's too wild.
There's things I've come across that I've forgotten, but I don't use them because they're too crazy, but because they don't fit with the overall story.
Okay. And you've said that since your mother's murder, you have had the feeling that there is a secret story out there.
World.
That people are not aware of. Can we understand in a way that bringing up to the surface that hidden story is the final purpose or main engine behind all your books?
In a sense, yes. I was a window-peeping little kid. I was always looking for naked girls in windows. And in my way, now I look for the naked society.
Okay. And your work has this ferocity, this fury, this fever, no? As if your personal demons somehow push it forward. Have you ever been afraid that, let's say, complete peace of mind could block you?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. And is it reasonable to think that if literature had not crossed your path, you could have ended prematurely dead or in prison? Was it a savior?
No. God saved me very early.
Very early?
Yeah.
How old were you? Can you?
Young.
Is it too personal to talk about God?
No.
No? You talk to him a lot? Is it a driving force for you still today?
Yes.
And what part does he play as in giving you courage in order to write or confidence? Is he a big supporter? What sort of relationship?
It's just simply faith and belief. It's just simply faith, belief in the risen God.
And you've declared yourself a self-taught writer, yeah? Self-taught, you know?
Well, yes. I mean, I read. I read for edification, for enjoyment. I did not read to learn. I am not formally educated.
Would you say this has helped you shape your literature in a specific way, in a good way?
I'm a genius. I'm the greatest crime writer who ever lived. And there's only one of me. I'm an original. And God gave me that. Aside from that, I work hard.
But maybe if you had gone to university or to academy, your style would have been ruined. Your present style,
if I went to college, I'd be a pinche perro.
Okay. Okay. And can you take us through an average working day of yours?
I write by hand. I write enormous outlines. It's a question of going to the outline, seeing what I have to write in sequence, writing by hand in black ink, white notebook paper, correcting in red ink. And then when I get a big stack of pages together, I fax them to my assistant. She types them. Always rewriting.
And you have a very quiet life? I mean,
quiet life.
Monk sort of life?
Yeah.
Yeah? But I remember you telling me that you lifted weights. Do you still do that? You keep in shape?
Yeah, I keep in shape. Yeah. I like exercise, yeah.
Is it important to clear your head doing the exercise?
Yeah.
Do you have any other hobbies that help you?
Boxing. I love boxing. I watch boxing on TV.
And you practice also boxing?
No.
And is there any, could you trace any parallelism between boxing and writing for you?
No, there's no parallel. I do one thing and I do the specific thing that I do better than anyone today or anyone in the past that's right about crime. And the other, boxing, is just a pastime. It's something I enjoy.
And do you read your sentences aloud before giving them the approval? They need to sound right?
I move my lips. I read very slowly. I move my lips when I read. And yes, the words have to be perfect in my mind before I'm satisfied with the sentence.
We all know you were not very pleased with movie adaptations of your work.
Uh-huh.
Are you still hopeful that someday a good film will be made out of your
Nah,
books?
it's all bullshit. Movies are all bullshit. LA Confidential, bullshit. Malo, malo. Black Dahlia, malo, malo. Movies are out. TV shows are out. Podcasts are in. Later this year, there will be an all-star podcast, the unabridged, unexpurgated American tabloid. I read the entire narration, and well-known actors, quality actors, read the dialogue. 12 hours, unabridged.
Okay. So you're not seduced at all about writing for the TV shows, or?
I used to do it now, and now I get a pension. Yeah, I did it at one time, but I never took it seriously. I did a good job, I got paid, and I walked away.
Okay. And what classic crime fiction authors do you go back again and again?
None.
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 But you don't read your contemporaries. You're not.
No.
The other writers.
No.
Okay. So what sort of books do you read? What?
True crime books. I've read a lot of Watergate books lately.
Okay. I remember you being very critical with the image of LA that comes from Raymond Chandler, no? And also Chinatown. That they're very canonic.
Bullshit movie, Chinatown.
Bullshit movie.
Bullshit movie, yeah.
And Chandler, you don't like Chandler?
No, I don't like Chandler.
So where should we go to get the grip
Read
of the real,
look,
the real LA?
The American heart, don't forget about LA except for me.
Okay.
The hard-boiled novel starts with Dashiell Hammett.
Yeah.
Red Harvest, 1929. And it ends with me. Hammett,
Yeah.
Ellroy. The two poles of American hard-boiled fiction.
And what about films? Classic films? Any filmmaker you will save?
Nah. I'm tired of talking about movies. I'm never going to do it again.
Never?
Movies, malo, pinche malo.
Okay. And how would you like to be remembered?
Yeah, El Jefe of worldwide crime fiction.
Yeah. Okay.
The Jefe. El Jefe.
Okay. I think that's a good closing line, okay,
Yeah.
for this interview. So, James, thank you very much for being with us today.
Good to be here.
Hope to have you back someday. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Pues nada, muchas gracias por haber estado aquí con James Ellroy. Ha sido un placer estar con él. Y nada, os invitamos a seguir disfrutando de todos los contenidos que os tenemos preparados en la Noche Más Negra. Gracias.